Hi everybody, it's Galactic Man Larry here again with another Marvel Legends, well, let's call this a review as well. Just this time I'll go through 3 figures at once. This is the, let's say, the second half or the rest of the figures I needed to get and review from the Ursa Major Wave. And here we have Darkstar, right? Darkstar, Hologram Iron Man, and a Vault Guardsman. And as you can see, I already took them out of the packaging. I've been, even, well, playing a bit with them, fiddling, you know, not playing, but yeah. And the artwork first. I mean, as always, is very nice artwork, and that's kind of what I just realized, that Darkstar is actually fighting some, I don't know the name of this villain here. I don't know if he's already one of a figure in Marvel Legends, but yeah. About Darkstar, it says, drafted as a Soviet operative on a nefarious mission, Lavinia Petrovna eventually broke free from the system and began to use her super secret skills to her own ends. Yeah, that's what it says about Darkstar. About Hologram Iron Man, it says, ever the innovator, Tony Stark takes flight in holographic form, a computer-generated avatar and an enduring force for good. Well, we can take these two off. And the last one is the Vault Guardsman, and it says, with armor equipped with repulsor rays, high carbon steel alloy mesh and radiation shielding, Vault Guardsman set his sights on the complete destruction of Iron Man. Well, it's Vault Guardsman. It says like this is one guy. I don't know anything about him. If he's, I mean, I've heard it's an army builder. And I don't know, I really, this very simple figure, I really like it. I also like, I mean, I like all these three. I was more into the figures I previously reviewed, like the modular Iron Man, the Ultron, Ironheart, and the Stealth Iron Man, but these three are good as well. Even, I mean, Darkstar has this female body which isn't which has been used like a million times, I don't know, with the very thin legs and so, but still I like the head sculpt, and it has something, you know, the figure has something to it. This Iron Man, even if it's an MCU, I don't know the number of the armor, but it's the one from, I guess, Civil War and Spider-Man Homecoming, yeah, one of these. I mean, I think it's the same armor, yeah. And this guy is dark green and brighter green, but I love the head sculpt. I mean, the design of that, yeah, kind of helmet or whatever. And he has decent articulation. So first of all, let's check Darkstar, yeah. I mean, the hair gets a bit on the way, but because of this wavy thing, and of course her hair gets, I mean, it's quite long, but the great thing, it has a very nice wash to it, so it doesn't look just like plastic, yeah. Where with the rest of the body, yeah, looking, well, it's black plastic and yellow plastic with black paint, or black plastic with yellow paint, you know. We know this body right now. I mean, it has a decent amount of movement on the arms, of course. I mean, but when we come to the swivel here and the not even 90-degree bend of the elbows, but the fist is fine. She comes with 2 hands like this, 2 fist hands and 2 gripping hands, which I already stored, and yeah, and actually the gripping hands are there for whatever reason, because she has nothing to grip, but you can give her any accessory that fits those hands. So She just doesn't come with any herself. 3 pair of hands, and the gripping hands are, yeah, it's a mystery why they gave us those hands, but it's always good to have a couple, some female gripping hands in bright yellow plastic. The diaphragm, she can just go a bit to the front, much more to the back. Nice thing is that they painted the star here, yeah, a bit to the sides. It's, yeah, it's just a little bit, yeah. She doesn't spread that much. She has just like a 45 spread or something like that, 45 degree, a bit over that, but it's, yeah, it's limited, yeah. But she can kick all the way to the front, no problem there. And you have the thigh cut, you have the double jointed knees, and you have the rocker ankles, which are decent enough, you know. It's just as much as you need, and that's Darkstar, right? Now the Hologram Iron Man, again based on the MCU figure armor of Civil War and Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming. He can look that much upwards, which is fine, and well, she cannot lean that much to the back with the diaphragm, but it's with the neck and the mix of both joints, you can get him to a nice flying pose with you know, looking there. The shoulders, of course, are limited by the shoulder plates and the way these chest upper body parts are molded. They didn't really give enough clearance for the arms to be able to go up further than that, and that's a bit annoying. He can go, of course, all the way around. He has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. We can go a bit over 90 degrees. He has these fists and the repulsor hands, which are also stored right now. The bad thing is, because he has this like plating on the fist, the repulsor hands have also the same limitation that you cannot, I mean, he comes with these two things, yeah, and he cannot properly angle enough the fists or the repulsor hands, so that, yeah, it's a bit limited, and these become a bit not useless, yeah, because you can peg them in, but it's a bit, yeah, I don't know. I'll just leave him with the fists on, because you don't have enough clearance to make some decent poses there. And yeah, the legs can spread that much. Of course, the sculpt gets in the way. Well, actually, it doesn't even get to the point in which the sculpt gets in the way. It's just the way the thigh joints are sculpted. I think this part looks a bit like, I mean, give me a second. Yeah, I heated this figure in water, so this thing still has like some steam into, like humidity is captured there anyway. At least I can see it. He has the thigh cut, which can, yeah, it's a thigh cut, it's all you need. The knees can go, it's a double jointed knee, of course, and this, yeah, can go that far. And the ankles are limited by the sculpt. Again, you cannot really go back because the sculpt is like, yeah, it bumps there. And go forward is also, yeah, it's like you get nothing out of this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna force anything, you know. I thought this figure was like, okay, it just looks cheap, but it has something to it. It doesn't, I mean, of course, we're not talking about a $60 to $100 figure or something. We're talking about a $20 figure, and or euro or whatever you know what I mean. That's kind of the price point. But yeah, it does have something with the white lines there, of course, and I actually, even with the limitations on the articulation, I actually like having this figure. I thought it was gonna be like, okay, I'll get it and I'll sell it or something, but I think I'm gonna keep it. It seems I'm gonna keep it. Now the Vault Guardsman, it's my favorite of these three, and I maybe in some future will get more copies, because I really have to start being more selective with what I get and what I get multiples of. But this guy and Ultron are, I mean, Ultron is a better figure maybe. I don't know, this, I mean, it is for most of the people, and he's an amazing figure, but this guy is, in all the simplicity, it's also nice. I really enjoy this figure. Just look at that. I mean, well, the design of the head sculpt, you know, the helmet or whatever, super simple but super like unique. I just like it, and it's double molded. I mean, it's the clear plastic, the clear green, I mean the lighter green, and this darker earth is just like two different plastics molded there. I mean, two different pieces, you know. And the same for the chest. It's not like something is painted, it's all sculpted plastic. Oh, the only painted parts are these lines on the biceps, and I mean on the, yeah, and this is dark green with light green paint on it, which is a bit let's say a bit cheap, or it's like rubbing off a bit, or it came like that actually, really, with a bit paint like gone, you know. But still a great view. The legs are, everything is just molded in the two different plastics, and he can move well, the head can go back that far, can go forward that far. He had like no tilt, you know. Now the arms can go all the way around. They can, you have to be careful when you move it, when you lift the shoulder, I mean when you lift the arm, the plastic here, the hard plastic of the upper body could yeah, if you pull it up, you will clash again, you might clash again the shoulder with that thing. So you can also push it down a bit while you lift the arm, you know. He can go 90 degrees, well, the T shape or whatever they call it. You have a bit of a protuber, you know, it's a bit like plum, like a huge ball there, yeah, but yeah, it's all for the articulation, you know. It's not the end of the world, and we're talking about an accessible figure. He has double jointed elbows, which have pretty good range. The bicep swivel, of course, and the fists. He comes with two fists and two gripping hands, so I have one and one. The other ones are stored already. I think I will always have it like this, or not always, but yeah. And this one swivels horizontally, both, even the gripping hands, which of course I would have preferred if the gripping hands had the vertical swivel, yeah. He has a diaphragm, not a diaphragm, an ab crunch. Can go forward that far and backward that far. It's not the best, but it's maybe all you need from this guy. Of course, more would be welcome. The legs, he's the winner of the three. He can't do the splits, but he can do some kicking, you know, sideways. 90 degrees to the front, great. he has the thigh cut. You have double jointed knees that can bend that much. You have a very nice boot cut, which is exactly where the boot ends. I mean, makes sense, yeah. The feet can go that far backwards, I mean all the way back, and that far, this far. How far? And enough forwards, let's say. I mean, maybe you can push it a bit more. Yeah, something like this, you know. Well, just like that far, you know. And he has a decent ankle rocker. One of the reasons I got the whole way was like, I mean, I already had 4 figures and I was like, I still want this guardsman, and then I only needed 2 more to complete the beast here, the bear, Ursa Major. And because also I wanted to have this guy, it's not like I was crazy about getting him, you know, but you know, it's like a huge muscular bear. Like, I think you can put this guy in whatever IP, you know. You can mix him with whatever, with any other line, you know, like even lines I don't even collect, like Mythic Legions or something. This guy is just a huge bear, you know, it can go anywhere, kind of. So let's see. I mean, first of all, this guy has some shading. It's not a wash, he has shading. It's a huge chunk of brown plastic. So now that we didn't get the Rancor, which was like 3 days ago that the campaign actually failed, the only thing I really that gets to my nerves is like, look, he has this wiggly waggly on the diaphragm, because there's a large peg which is a bit dancing in the upper part of the body, I think. Yeah, it's the upper, I mean, the peg is fixed on the ball inside of the abdomen is really tight. Actually, I have to be very careful when I want to twist to the sides, because I don't want to break that peg. It's thick, but it's I mean, yeah, it's still kind of thin for the mass of this guy, yeah. And the connection upwards is a bit like loose, as he has this wiggly waggly, but if you put him there and leave it there, it stays there, you know. I mean, once you have a pose. Now the head, let me lift the camera a little bit. The head can just has some movement to the sides and some a bit limited up, and he has more like looking down than looking up. Actually, let me see if I can. Yeah, he's on a dumbbell here, and I don't know if, like, I've been listening to some of Anthony's customs videos, and he knows his thing, you know. I'm just a collector. I don't sculpt myself, but I think this is done the right way. I mean, still, it could be maybe without this, you know, sinking there in that ball here, like it goes a bit downwards, but it's the large ball is in the socket of the neck, and the smaller goes to the head. I think, if I'm right, it's what he says it should be like that, and if not, it's the opposite. And so, but one of both, you know. As you can see, this is like the pink plastic, and that's because of the tongue. The tongue is made of that pink plastic, and you can actually see how it, like, that indicates like the tongue is going that way. And yeah, that's the only reason why they use this. And also, I mean, the eyes are painted on that pink plastic, so I guess the eyes are, yeah, part of that separate. It's two different plastics for the head, and the rest, the nose and the shadows and the teeth and the gums, or yeah, those are all painted. So this little part is just like, well, little, this thing is like a softer plastic. It's not super flexible, but it's flexible. I mean, you shouldn't be twisting this. It's just more flexible plastic, and you just peg it here and there, but the main peg is this one. This one is more just like to keep it in place. It kind of pegs, but it's not like, it's just more like to fix it. Now the arms can go all the way around. Of course, because of this, that gets on the way, so you have to open a bit the angle. He can lift the, oh well, that just happened. Now you can see how the arms are just connected there. The chest is like and the abdomen are like hollow hard plastic. Yeah, you don't want to let this figure fall to the floor, you know. That could really break it. It's the extremities which are really like, let's say, thick, solid plastic, you know. His biceps can go all the way around, of course, the bicep swivel. He has a bit of, I don't know if it's a 90 degree, a bit over 90 degree, right? Elbow bend, or let's say it's 90 degree. If it's a bit more, that's great, but I cannot see myself right now. But it's, yeah, it's kind of 90, at least 90. The claws, of course, the paws here can go all the way around, and they have this horizontal swivel, which you can obviously see, and it gets a bit ugly when you do it like that, but it's all for the sake of movement, articulation, you know. And yeah, and he has very nice, well, these claws are painted with dark brown and some lighter brown on top of it to make the, like, some highlights or some sense of, like, this guy is not super clean, and also, like, you know, to give the claws a bit of a texture. Yeah, what else? The diaphragm, no, that's a part. He can lean forward only that far, and then you have a bit of a protuberance on the back. He can lean backward much more than forward, and then you have a weird thing on the front, you know, if you can see. And he can lean quite some, I mean, decent lean to the sides for this huge bear guy. And you can turn him, but I try to turn the whole way. I mean, I don't want to really like twist him, because it's a bit, yeah, really, I don't want to force that large peg, but it should move, but you have to be careful. In my case, my figure, that thing is a bit, yeah, a bit too tight, so I go more like I circulate the whole thing, you know. That's the way I move it, not just twist, but kind of move using the whole possibility, you know, the whole range, and then you can, while moving, you can twist. Yeah, that's, I was able to. Now the legs can go upwards just that far, and then you can, with the thigh cut, fix the position. He doesn't get to 90 degrees, but it was maybe to expect because of the sculpt. He can bend the knee only 90 degrees, and he has a single joint. Again, I think it makes sense for the size of the figure. And the feet, or the lower paws, let's call them the feet, yeah, they can go backwards that far and forward that far, so he has great range for the feet. And he has a weird ankle pivot angle for the ankle pivot, but it's yeah, it's also because the feet are a bit flat, so the peg, I don't know how it's, I think it goes like in a 45 degree or something, that, yeah, that gives that angle. Now, before I bring the rest of the wave, I just wanted to compare this huge guy with two other large figures. I mean, Titus is also quite large, but he's not as thick as this guy. Yeah, I love that figure. And Chewbacca from the Solo movie, but it's just a Chewbacca with some goggles and a different weapon and different thing there. Yeah, they are kind of the same height, or let's say they're almost the same. And of course, Titus is in a pose there, but he's a bit crooked here, and but yeah, let's say they're the same height, just this guy is bulkier. So now finally let me bring the rest of the guys. So there you have the whole wave. I think actually, no, it's not the first time, of course I have the Titus guy, but it's the first time I review a whole wave, even if it took some time to complete it. But yeah, I'm very happy with this one. I mean, I have always loved the whole Iron Man idea, you know, this armored character with, yeah, which happens to be a normal human being kind of thing, you know. I also really like this figure, the Ironheart. I know nothing about the character, but I like how it looks, you know. Yeah, it's a very solid wave. I mean, I'm not an expert on waves yet. I also like the stealth. I like the whole wave, you know. That's the point. Even, I mean, I think the weakest figure, like for me, sculpt wise, would be Darkstar. Not the head is great, but the body is outdated if you compare it with everything else. And also a bit the Hologram Iron Man is a bit like, yeah, could be better, but it looks great, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know if it looks great on camera, but I really like how it looks having it in front of my eyes. I really enjoy having that figure, even if I was not looking forward to it at all, if you get what I mean. Yeah, an amazing wave. The Ultron is stunning, and as well as the modular Iron Man, they are both amazing figures. The whole wave is really full of great figures. The Vault Guardsman, yeah, I really like this wave. And I can only, I mean, if you don't have it yet, and if you like Iron Man and related characters, and you're like, should I get it? Yeah, you should get it. I mean, of course, if you have the money, free to buy figures, you know. This is like a little luxury item. The important things first, you know. But I really like them. I said that like 50 times now already, I guess. So I will leave it there. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy the content, check other videos. I have like, I don't know, around 100 videos by now. Not yet, maybe, but something like that. I haven't counted them. Yeah, that's it for this time. Great figures, great wave. I will see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao, ciao.